Here's a brutal little truth about buying a house. Most people lose the one they actually wanted before they ever even make an offer. Not because they got outbid, because they were never in a position to bid at all. The house hits the market. They fall in love. They message the agent that night, and then reality shows up, right? They're not pre-approved. They don't even really know their number. No agent, no plan. So the buyer who quietly did the boring work 3 weeks earlier, of course, writes a clean offer that same afternoon. And the house is gone. Poof. And the first person never even realized they were in a race. So frankly, this is not a house hunting tips video. There are a million of those and they are not your problem. Your problem is the order you do things in. So here is a full 60-day plan from today to keys in your hand, and we're gonna run it in the exact reverse of how most people do it. Do that, and you become the buyer who's ready while everyone else is running along. Quick intro if we have not met yet. I am Jake Burt with the Burt Lending Team at Neighborhood Loans. I'm a mortgage lender. I help first-time buyers all the way up to portfolio investors purchase homes all over the country. And I keep this stuff in plain English instead of drowning you in industry jargon. Give me 15 minutes and I'll hand you the whole 60-day plan, start to finish. Listen. Here's where almost everybody goes sideways when they're doing this. They start with the fun part, like scrolling listings on Zillow, and they leave the part that actually decides the outcome, your money and your team, for dead last, right when the clock is already running and there's no time left to fix anything. We're gonna flip it, okay? Lock the unglamorous stuff down first, and finding the house becomes the easy part instead of the panic part. Listen, believe me. Think of the boring work as your moat. It's what lets you move in an afternoon while the other buyers are still digging around for their pay stubs and stuff. It's your security. So here's the whole 60 days at a glance. Make sure you pay special attention to the order. Week 1, we lock down your money, the slow, decisive stuff first. Week 2, we cut the noise, pin down exactly what you're hunting for in a home, and hire your agent. From about day 14 to day 45, roughly, that's your shopping window, when you're actually going and checking out the homes, and that day, you find the one, right? You write the offer, and the final 30 days is the ride to closing. Boring parts first, on purpose, let's build it. Before you spend a single cent, 3 things I want living in the back of your head for the entire 60 days we're doing this. For one, you are not trying to time the bottom of the market. Please forget that that idea exists. Nobody hits that on purpose. You're buying a place to live in for a good 5 years or so, and over that kind of window, the timing mostly washes out. Number 2, número dos, your payment should be boring. If the number gives you like a little hype, if you're like, ooh, that's cool, it's too high, that's way too high. Boring is the target here. Number 3, and arguably the most important, you need to keep a cushion. Buying a house should never take your bank account to zero. Hold on to that idea because I'm gonna show you exactly why that matters on day 60, and it involves a new pool I had to deal with when I bought my second property. Your entire first week has one purpose: lock down your money, girl. I'm telling you, we start here with the pre-approval and the financing because it's the slowest piece and it's the one thing that decides everything. So it cannot be the one that you save for last or are reacting to. First and foremost, get a pre-approval. Very simple. And know the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qual. A pre-qual is one of those 30-second online forms that hand you a number, is basically a horoscope, more or less. Nobody checked your income, nobody pulled your credit, or at least a hard pull, and it's a guess, to be honest. A real pre-approval is a background check. Not a literal one, but an actual human reviews your pay stubs, your credit, and your income, and hands you a letter that holds up when you write an offer. Sellers like them. Sellers feel the difference instantly, and so do their agent. By the end of week 1, the letter is what you want in hand, period. Now, the number that the pre-approval spits out, treat that more like a speed limit versus a target to hit. Say you make $110,000 a year. A lender might approve you for something like a $4,100 payment. That's the most they'll let you do before it becomes their risk and you're not approvable. It is not the number that you shop at. Your real number comes from your take-home pay and your actual life. I'm talking Verizon, talking utilities, I'm talking dog food. And for a lot of people, that's closer to $2,900. Shop from that one. Something I'd strongly recommend, while you're in money mode this week, drop all of your paperwork in one folder now. photo, ID, last pay stub, W-2s from the last 2 years, business returns if you're self-employed, tax returns if you're self-employed, and the most recent 2 months of bank statement showing your down payment funds. When underwriting asks for it in a month, you send a link instead of tearing the house apart under a deadline trying to find all of this stuff. I'm gonna give you 2 money habits before you buy as well. First and foremost, knock down your high interest credit card balances, please. I say quietly, but it will affect it big time. And every payment on it is a payment you can't spend towards a house. And get your reserves in place, a few months of expenses that survive after your down payment and closing costs, not a someday plan. Before we get too far, let me share with you the hill that I will absolutely die on. Do not empty your savings account to make a bigger down payment. For most first-time buyers, putting 3 to 3.5% down and keeping your cash beats 20% down with nothing left in the bank. Believe me, unless you're gonna stay in a home for 20 years forever, you don't need to do it. And if you're house hacking, honestly, I want even more set aside. I'm talking closer to 6 months of the mortgage payment, because a vacant room doesn't pay rent and the lender still expects you to pay the mortgage every month. Week 2 now, your money's locked and secured, financing's good. For the first couple days, kill the noise. The next stretch, your real enemy isn't the market, it's the voices chirping in your ears all the time. It'll move your budget, it'll shake your reasons, and talk you out of a good decision. What you really need to do is pick 2 or 3 voices of people you actually trust and mute everyone else. The second the algorithm figures out you're buying a home, it's gonna flood you with just a boatload of everyone's hot takes. You don't need everyone's take. You need a couple of people you trust and a filter for the rest. Believe me. And please do not let rates moving 0.25% decide whether or not you buy. Over a 60-day stretch, if a tiny wiggle in rates flips you from a yes to a no, that is not a rate problem. Believe me, that is a sign your reason for buying is not solid enough yet, which is fine. Frankly, it might just mean now isn't your time, but a real reason doesn't blink at 0.25 point. One tactical thing here that saves your sanity, before you get your credit pulled, go to optoutprescreen.com and donotcall.gov and register your number, please. When the bureaus see a credit pull for a mortgage, they sell your info to other lenders. It's not us, that's them. And you get buried in spam calls. I'm talking hundreds of calls a day sometimes. 2 free sites, 2 minutes, and you skip the whole circus. When we get to about day 10, it's time to start getting specific on what kind of home you're hunting for, because a house is not a target. Start with your reason for buying, and I don't mean like journal about your feelings. I want a house because blah, 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 blah. I mean write down the 1 or 2 real reasons you're doing this for. You got a kid on the way, you're done renting because you're getting robbed, you need an office, better school district, whatever's actually true. That reason is gonna be your tiebreaker. When 2 houses are pulling at you, or one's a little over budget, but it's got the thing that you want, or like the cool shaker cabinets, your reason settles it super fast. Put it in your phone so emotion can't quietly rewrite it halfway through the search. Just trust me. Then split your list into 2 parts. Needs are gonna be the things you will not bend on. Enough bedrooms, a commute that works, a safe area, a price inside your boring number. Wants are the stuff you love, but will trade. The updated kitchen, the yard, the garage with 3 spaces, the specific street off of like Maple, and you take the pressure off yourself. I'm telling you, your first place does not have to be your last place. Even if you don't plan on being an investor, most people buy something solid, let it build equity, and trade up later. Stepping stone, not forever home. By the end of week 2, you're gonna add the last integral piece to your team, which is a great agent, a phenomenal agent, because you've already got your loan officer. That's me. Interview 2 or 3 agents. Don't just call the name on the sign of a house that you liked or the sign that looked pretty. Tell them your reason, your list, your plan, and watch who actually listens versus who's just trying to start talking about what they have to say or book a showing. You want someone that knows your area front to back, answers their phone, that's important, and works with buyers all day. Not someone who mostly lists for sellers or does a deal every other year. Once you pick them, put them to work. Hand over your pre-approval letter and your needs list so that they can hunt for you instead of just tossing random listings your way whenever they feel like it. If any of this is making a stressful thing and buying a home sound doable, hit the subscribe button below. It genuinely helps me get this in front of more people and first-time homebuyers who really, really need it. And tell me in the comments which day you're on right now in the process. If you're still saving, getting your pre-approval together, or already out looking. I read everyone and I'm happy to chat and chime in. All right, let's go hunt. You're now 2 weeks in and everything is ready to go. So this is your shopping window around day 14 to 45 or so. And notice how much lighter it feels because the heavy lifting of financing and money is done. Have your agent set up a listing portal that emails you new homes the second they hit the market. Already filtered to your price point, your must-haves, your bedrooms, and so on and so forth. That replaces the endless scrolling on Zillow. I see too many people do that. You're not browsing anymore. You're waiting for the exact thing you defined to show up. While you wait, a good pointer here, sharpen your eye for what you're looking for. Tour a couple open houses, even a couple you'd never buy, just to learn what you actually react to in the real space versus a photo. Also, try walking the neighborhoods you've been looking at different hours of the day. A street at 9 in the morning and that same street at 10 p.m. can be two totally different places. And every time you tour, take notes in your phone. What worked, what didn't, and you'll get sharper fast and more decisive. Let's run a little practice round on this new payment idea. Say your rent right now is $1,800 and you're looking at a payment around $2,600 or so, $2,650. That's an $800 to $850 payment jump. So every month, move that extra $800 to $850 into a separate account, like a high yield savings, and live on that smaller budget on purpose. This is gonna do two things. Number one, you find out fast whether that payment is actually comfortable or whether you're quietly strangling your life and your savings. And if it's tight, you just learn to shop a little bit lower. Your payment doesn't have to be quite that high. Two, that money you've been stashing becomes part of your down payment and it's gonna grow in a high yield savings. You genuinely cannot lose with this method, so I strongly recommend it. While you are shopping, get ahead on a couple items so future you isn't freaking out at the 11th hour. For one, line up a good inspector or a couple good inspector names now, because the second you're under contract, you don't want to be Googling inspectors. That's gonna stress you out to high hell. If you're hiring movers as well, start getting quotes. If you're recruiting friends instead, give them real notice and feed them, maybe get them a Coors Banquet. That's the best payment that you can do. Don't spring it on them on a Saturday and expect that they are going to turn out, because they will not. You can even start boxing stuff up so you don't have to start trying to box everything the week that you close, because that's a nightmare. The day comes, somewhere in that 15 to 45 day window, the one shows up. Let's win it, just like we talked about. Same day. First, go see it in person, non-negotiable. Do not buy a house off of photos. That will not work, especially your first home. Then have your agent pull comps. What similar homes are actually sold for in that area, so you know the price is real, for one, and that you're not overpaying. Then the kind of exciting part, you build the offer with your agent and you send it. Because you did all of this prep in week 1 and 2, all of that can happen in one day, the same day that the house shows up. And your offer is way more than just the price. So let's unpack it a little bit. There is your offer price, which is of course backed by the comps that you had. There's the earnest money, good faith deposit, basically saying, I do genuinely want to buy this home. It's normally 1% of the home price, and it tells the seller that you're serious. It gets applied to your closing costs when you close on the home, and you only lose it if you walk for no good reason. There is the closing date. That's normally going to be 20 to 30 days, and that's when the keys are yours. And these are your escape hatches. Do not toss them out to look tough. The inspection contingency gives you a window to check the house and walk away with your deposit if it's a disaster. Be mindful of if your appraisal comes in low, because people do not talk about this enough on your first property. Let's say you offer at $425,000 and the appraisal comes in at $405,000. That is a $20,000 gap that somebody has to cover. Either the seller drops the price, You bring an additional $20,000 to the closing table, or you meet in the middle somewhere. And you decide up front how much of that gap you're willing to cover, if any. It's not obligatory. Or what's most likely is they will counter your offer. Let's say you offer $410,000 on a $425,000 property, and they counter with $418,000. Now it's your move. Now, here's a trap on those seller credits that almost nobody explains. When you ask the seller to cover closing costs, that money comes straight out of their pocket. Offer $430,000 and ask for $8,000 in credits, and the seller's really only netting $422,000. So against a competing offer, yours can actually look weaker at the same price, and they might counter you up to protect their number. Seller credits are absolutely phenomenal. Just know they can cost you the deal if you're in a competitive spot and you're not negotiating correctly. Your agent will help you play it right. Alert, 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 alert. Offer accepted. Now it's game time. Let's go. The last 30 days of your 60-day plan, and here is the shape of it. This is what it's gonna look like. First week of being under contract or so, you'll do your inspection and shop homeowners insurance. The underwriting reviews everything, and the appraisal comes in to confirm the value that you accepted the offer at. That middle stretch is where people get antsy about timing. Totally normal. Just lean on your loan officer and your agent for updates. We will take care of you, and we will communicate. As you approach the end of the home buying journey, you'll get your clear to close. You'll set a closing day, which is the most exciting feeling, and you set when you actually get the keys. One rule while all of that is cooking, and I mean it, do not touch your credit. No new car, no new credit cards, no new couches that you want to buy from Living Spaces. A new loan mid-process can wreck your approval and kill the whole deal after all of this work. Same with like enormous money movement between accounts randomly. Talk to your loan officer first. And when they ask you for something, send it that day, because I'll get to it is exactly how closings slip. We're not asking you for stuff for fun. We want you to get in that house just as much as you do. So when we ask for things, get it fast and understand we're not doing it just because we want to do it. It's closing day. You'll get your final numbers to review on your final settlement statement, and you'll actually get a preview a few days before on your closing disclosure, so nothing's a surprise at the closing table. A couple days out, start preparing to get the utilities switched over. At closing, wire your funds, sign a very small forest's worth of paper, and get your keys. Unless, of course, you set up some kind of delayed occupancy. One really nice surprise most people don't know about: your first mortgage payment skips a month. If you close in, let's just say July, you don't make your first payment until September. A very important side note, always call your title company before you wire funds. Wire fraud is so prevalent these days, and it's so easy to lose money. Call your title company, confirm the wiring instructions, save thousands of dollars. Two things to prepare for after you take possession and move in. One, your property taxes can jump about a year in, because buying can reset the home's taxable value. The seller might have been taxed on a $380 valuation, more or less, and you just bought it $430. So build a little room for that. Just as important to prepare for, the day that you get the keys, every repair moving forward is officially yours. Here's an example of why that's important to bear in mind when you close. This most recent house I purchased, the pool when we moved in was not in a condition to swim. The chemicals were off, and I spent over $1,000 just trying to get this pool's chemicals within line on my own. If I didn't prepare for that and I didn't have money saved, I would have been a goner. I would have had to get a credit card, take out a personal loan, and that's not what you want to be doing after you move into your brand new home and you just signed a check for $40,000. Keys in hand means the repairs are yours, and a little breathing room means a bad day stays a bad day instead of turning into debt. So there it is, your 60-day game plan. Week 1, get your financing and your money locked down. Week 2, cut all the noise, pin your target, hire your agent. Days roughly 14 to 45, hunt with the filter instead of a scroll. Be decisive. Find the right one, write a clean offer that same day, and the final 30 days, write it out, baby. Get your keys. Do it in that order, and you stop being the buyer who finds out too late and start being the one who's ready. And the first domino, the thing that kicks off day 1, is your pre-approval. So let's just knock it out. book a call with me and my team. The link's right below this video in the description. We'll get you a real pre-approval, find your boring number that I talked about, and get your 60 days started so that you're ready to move the second the right place shows up. And do me a favor, if you could, comment which day you're on right now, saving, getting pre-approved, or just looking at the moment. I answer every comment. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Jake Burt Lending Team, out.